Have you ever struggled to talk about your work experience in English? In this video, I will help you create your version of self-introduction in English. With only 4 simple sentences, you will be able to describe your experience in a way that you will sound like an American. I actually got this idea from an Amazon employee who talked about his work on YouTube. I will provide his video link below. He was using a framework that I found to be helpful and easy to learn. So I'm gonna share with you how to apply that framework and make your version of self-introduction. Now let's take a look at how that Amazon employee introduced himself. This is how he went about it.
For about the last 5 years, I was at Amazon. I started out as a software development engineer, and then I moved into a machine learning engineer role, and I finally ended at a machine learning infrastructure engineering role.
So he first talked about how much time he spent at an organization. Then he went on talking about what he did in the first role, the second role, and the third role. Now let me explain each one of the sentences for you.
For about the last 5 years, I was at Amazon.
So the sentence pattern is, for about the last how many years? I was at 某个组织单位. You can make a sentence like, for about the last 2 years, I was at HTC. Or if you had worked for more than 2 organizations, you can say something like, for about the last 2 years, I was at HTC and Dell. For about the last 5 years, I was at a couple of startups. Now it's your turn to practice making a sentence. Are you ready?
I started out as a software development engineer.
So the sentence pattern is, I started off as a 某个职务名称. I used started off as something to talk about which role I took on at the beginning of my career. You can make sentences like, I started off as a marketing specialist. I started off as a customer support at a cross-border e-commerce company. I started off as a mechanical engineer on the product team. Now, how about you practice making a sentence as well? Are you ready?
And then I moved into a machine learning engineer role.
The sentence starts with and then to introduce what I did after leaving the first role. Then I used I move into 某个职位 plus role to tell people which position I transitioned to. You can make sentences like, and then I move into a program manager role. And then I move into a sales role on the DRAM team. And then I move into a senior engineer role at XYZ company. Now, it's your turn again to practice making a sentence. Are you ready?
And I finally ended at a machine learning infrastructure engineering role.
I finally ended at a 某个职务名称 plus role to talk about the role I took on at the final stage of my career. You can make sentences like, I finally ended at a regional director role. I finally ended at a manager role at HP. I finally ended at a tech lead role on the ads team. Now, would you practice making a sentence using this template? Are you ready? Now, let me put together all the sentences we had by giving you an example. Suppose that I'm an engineer. I want to talk about how much time I spent at different companies, and I want to quickly go through what I did at each one of the companies. This is how I can go about it. For about the last 5 years, I was at ABC Company and HP. I started off as a mechanical engineer on the product team at ABC Company. And then I moved into a senior engineer role. And I finally ended at a tech lead role at HP. So that's it for today. I hope you find this video helpful.